Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. What a year this has been for me and for Closer Than You Think. You know, my whole objective with Closer Than You Think is just what the name expresses, to help people understand that we often put a lot of our own religious and psychological blocks up between ourselves and God, which makes it seem like God is distant and uncaring, when in fact God is really closer than you think. One of the reasons I know this is true, beyond the countless interactions I've had with others over the years, is that I'm so good at doing this myself. Even when I know better, I let these false beliefs creep in and dictate my faith and identity. God's will is for us to be free in our faith. Life is not meant to be dictated by a bunch of rules, but by the Spirit of God within all of us, producing fruit that manifests as love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. There's a supernatural design already in place for a better world, and it doesn't require a bunch of commands, doctrines, policies, or religious hierarchy. You are free to be who God made you to be, and everything starts with the question, who is Jesus to you? So what have we done and where are we going with Closer Than You Think? And more importantly, what's available to you? There's already a wealth of content available on my Substack, YouTube channel, and Instagram account for anyone to access. 2025 has actually been a fairly productive year for Closer Than You Think. I published or republished in a newly formatted version the online courses of Simplify the Path and Magnify the Power as a podcast episode series, which are available on Substack under the heading The Academy. I encourage anyone new to Closer Than You Think to start with the Simplify the Path course. I also published a series of episode recordings of my book by chapters with additional commentary to accompany each chapter so that you can access all of my book audibly with bonus material. It is under the heading of The Book on Substack. Remember, my book is entitled You Don't Have to Do That, and it's available wherever books are sold, including Amazon. Finally, I launched the community on Substack, which contains special teaching materials for those who have signed up to receive them. I am proud of the teaching series I produced over the past few months in particular, which includes lessons on the Bible and its origins, the purposes that the writers and compilers had in forming it, as well as numerous practical tips and strategies for reading and interpreting it more effectively and reliably. The series outlined the basic mindsets and paradigm shifts necessary to read the Bible well in order to avoid the religious baggage of toxic Christianity. There were also lessons on the core practices of the Christian faith and what all of it means for raising children with healthy spirituality. None of the lessons is very long, and the series gets more streamlined as you progress through the videos. So that was 2025. What about 2026? Where are we going next? Well, in 2026, you can expect one focus for the beginning of the year that I'm super excited about. The podcast. New theme, new format, and best of all, new partners. You will meet Caitlin, who will be joining me, as well as some other guests. The point of the podcast is to give us an intergenerational conversation about profound yet practical topics. Our objective is to broaden perspectives about issues related to religion, mental health, trauma, and deconstruction. Some of the first few episodes will address questions like, where should a healthy spiritual journey begin? What is the most important question to ask at the beginning of a dating relationship? How can parents go wrong and right when teaching their children about God? And what keeps religious instruction from becoming psychological abuse? We will weigh in on these and many more questions. Subscribe on Substack to get the first run of all of the podcast episodes and to join the discussion with comments and feedback. The other change for 2026, now that all of this digital and online content has been created, is to shift to more in-person events and opportunities to speak to groups and churches. Maybe you are part of a men's group or a small group Bible study. Maybe you're a pastor of a church or a leader of a Mother's Day Out program or some other kind of association, and you're looking for a guest speaker. I would appreciate it if you could consider inviting me to give a talk and or facilitate a discussion with your group. You can reach out to me directly at info@ctyt.net. Of course, the foundation of all of my work at CTYT is my book, You Don't Have to Do That. The purpose of the book is to help people move past what is wrong with religion to embrace what is right with Jesus. There are numerous books on deconstruction, as well as many on spiritual growth. What I'm proud of about my book is that I feel like I have been able to address both components in a simple and healthy way for the average person just trying to figure out life. The book breaks down some of the fundamental parts of evangelical Christianity, such as church, the Bible, leadership, and tithing, and then it helps the reader practically reset their spiritual journey around the foundational question, who is Jesus to you? It also contains many practical suggestions for how to raise the next generation with healthy spirituality that avoids bad Christianity. Honestly, I get virtually nothing from the sale of a book, and you can access just about all of its content for free on Substack anyway. But I do want to give a plug for it here and now because I believe in it. It is the result of a long journey, lots of research, and I believe it can be of great service to those wanting to know more about God in a real and honest way. We cut through the religious debris and get straight to the point. I hope that it not only informs people, but also inspires them. Frankly, I want to spread the ideas in the book far and wide. So you can buy it anywhere books are sold. If you have read it and would be so kind to take the time to leave a review on Amazon, that would totally make my day. Apart from Closer Than You Think, I will start 2026 recovering from foot surgery, working full-time at my job, trying to enjoy as much time with family. I appreciate your prayers, and I always welcome you sharing your prayer requests with me too. With all that said, please remember, God is closer than you think. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks so much for watching or listening. Talk to you soon.